Welcome to the Paratus Report, the place where you'll get the latest and greatest on what's happening in your Coast Guard. I'm Lieutenant Junior Grade Katie Braynard.
And I'm Chief Warrant Officer Chad Saylor.
Here's a few updates to help keep you squared away. The Coast Guard's dusted off those old CPay tables and has taken a round turn on what incentive pay looks like for our cuttermen.
You know, Katie, I saw them, and some folks may think that the most junior members are losing money by going out to sea.
Yeah, I thought that at first too, but if you actually take a look at the tables, I think the Coast Guard's finally starting to reward people that want to return to sea for their careers.
Last week, we sat down with Admiral Midget, who's been a part of these revisions, to get a sense of what these changes mean to the workforce.
He's also the Gold Ancient Mariner, so he knows a thing or two about time at sea. Here's what he had to say. So Admiral, this whole CPay thing, if you had to sum it up in a couple of points, what are the most important things that people need to know?
Everybody works hard at sea, and I've been to sea on several different classes of ships, and some of those were easier than others, and some of them were really hard. So I think these sea tables reflect the difficulty that the various cutters have in the Coast Guard.
So it sounds like the Coast Guard's now starting to reward people that want to return to sea for their career.
It's the right thing to do. It doesn't have anything to do about budget. We're taking the CPay tables that we've always had and we're reslicing that pie. So if you're from E4 to E7, across that group, you'll see about a 13% increase in CPay.
A 13% increase sounds like a nice incentive for folks who want to go back out to sea and make it a career afloat.
I agree. For another perspective, let's check in with someone else who knows a thing or two about time underway.
Master Chief Stephen Cantrell is not only the senior most enlisted member of the Coast Guard, he also advises leadership on issues affecting the workforce. With us now on the phone is Master Chief Cantrell, so let's get right to the questions. Master Chief, we spoke to Admiral Midget and he mentioned the 13% increase, but it still seems like the junior most members are losing money from their paychecks.
It's never an easy thing to tell someone that they're going to get less of anything, particularly when it comes to pay and benefits. However, most of the junior members that are affected by these changes, the E2s, O1s, they didn't join our Coast Guard for CPay rates, and likely, in most cases, they haven't even decided on a career, on a specific career path yet. So we made a conscious decision to shift most of the CPay increases to mid-level enlisted pay grades, really in an effort to incentivize them to return to sea duty assignments.
What about these new cutter levels? What's that all about?
The three level tables, we've increased that to 5 levels, and what that does, it allows us to really organize the cutters into groups that share common characteristics, and that could be by deployment length, by operational hours, or simply by how arduous the assignment might be.
Thanks, Master Chief. For more information on these changes and how they may affect you now or in the future, click the link in the video description.
In case you missed it, Coast Guard Cutter Healy is underway in the Arctic supporting GeoTraces 2015.
What is GeoTraces 2015, you might ask? GeoTraces is an international scientific mission 7 years in the making to create a baseline for the health of the world's oceans. This year's mission is the first GeoTraces expedition to the Arctic. On the journey, Coast Guard Cutter Healy also became the first U.S. surface ship to reach the North Pole unaccompanied.
Shout out to the crew of Coast Guard Cutter Healy. You can learn more about the crew and their mission by clicking the link in the video description.
In other big news, last month, Vice Admiral Charles Michel was confirmed as our 30th Vice Commandant. We caught up with him last week and learned all about his leadership philosophy. Here's what he had to say.
I'm humbled and honored, really, to be able to have this position, to use all my skills and experience that I've gathered here over 34 years since I first entered the Coast Guard Academy. More importantly, to support the Commandant and men and women of the Coast Guard as we go around and do our business. So I'm really thrilled to be given this opportunity to use all that the organization has provided me to the benefit of all our members and all the people that we serve out there.
And here's 5 things you may not have known about your new Vice Commandant.
He's an Army brat who had a full Army ROTC scholarship lined up until he met a Coast Guard recruiter at his high school and was intrigued by the opportunities of the service. The rest is history.
He also met his wife in Cozumel, Mexico. Well, he was on Coast Guard Cutter Decisive and she was vacationing from Texas. Now they've been married for 28 years.
He's the proud owner of a 1967 Corvette Stingray, which he bought before entering the Coast Guard Academy.
Vice Admiral Michel also makes it a point to wake up every morning before sunrise so he has time to hit the gym.
He was also at the forefront of the Coast Guard's airborne use of force policy, which led to the creation of our HITRON unit and has assisted our law enforcement operations throughout the Western Hemisphere.
That's awesome. It's always cool to get a little more insight into the personalities behind our senior leaders.
On a more serious note, please remember September is National Suicide Prevention Month. If you or someone you know needs help, never hesitate to take advantage of the resources available 24/7. That number is 1-800-273-8255 or 1-800-273-TALK.
And that's it for this month's Paratus Report. Tune in next month for the latest and greatest on what's happening in your Coast Guard. To stay updated on the latest news, make sure you log on to Coast Guard All Hands and our other official social media sites.